All right, guys. It's Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Sunday night service. Oh my goodness, what a weekend with Dani and Dr. Motley.
Dani and Dr. Motley. It was a big weekend. What happened this weekend?
Oh my goodness. We went to Gray Bear. We went to Gray Bear Retreat Center, which is, if you've never been to Gray Bear, this was my 4th trip there, and it is a retreat center in Hohenwald, Tennessee. And we had a weekend of R&R. And it was sauna, hot tub, massages, body work, Thai massage.
Oh my goodness. Yoga,
and vegan, vegetarian food, which was absolutely unbelievable to die for.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Chris had never been. I took him, and then, wait first cheers. It's Sunday night, so it's red wine night. I missed church this morning, so I missed communion. And we've had no wine since Thursday.
Cleaned out.
Yep, totally cleaned out. Vegetarian, vegan. It was great. I came home and had a BLT sandwich. Boom, I'm good to go. No, I'm joking. I did not. I didn't. Oh, my gosh. So it was so amazing. It was so beautiful. And it's a super moon tonight, and it was a full moon last night. I guess it was full moon. It looked full. It looked full. In the hot tub, didn't it? But everybody thought that this was my husband. Are y'all married? Well, oh, y'all are so cute. And I'm like, what? No, we're not married. Well, is that your partner? I'm like, my partner? What the heck? No, he's not my partner. Yeah. And so anyway.
And they're all like, you don't deserve her. You know, she's too good for you. And I was
that's
like,
not true at all.
Man, come on. Anyway, but they did think it was great.
It was really funny. It was funny. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun though. But I had a great weekend, and I hope you enjoyed Gray Bear.
I loved it, and I loved the fact that we were out there and you didn't have any communication and
no cell phones. I had no idea what was going on back here until we got way out, because it's in the middle of almost 500 acres.
It is crazy, and goodness, we didn't even know who won all the football games and all that.
I have no idea what went on.
We didn't really care actually, because time sort of stood still. Actually.
So also on Friday, when I was meeting with my internet guy and what have you, I bought the domain to sundaynightservice.net, sundaynightservice.net, which was nothing. I mean, good Lord, it's $25. It wasn't like I spent a lot of money per year. sundaynightservice.com was $1,000 to buy. So I said, well, no, we're not making any money on this. This is all for free. So no, I'm not paying $1,000. So it's exciting, because sundaynightservice.net, we will end up, we don't know what we're doing. We don't have a clue, but we got it bought and ready. And also Dani Williamson Wellness, DaniWilliamsonWellness.com is bought as well. So the future's exciting.
It is super exciting. And I'm not that inventive yet, but it will be that way. And when you told me that we got the Sunday night service, I was like, all right, let's do this.
Well, we're doing it. Well, I'm not getting any younger, for God's sake. I'm 52 next month. Can you believe that?
No, 52. You don't even look.
Are you married to him? Good Lord.
Oh, stop it.
He's 20 years old, practically.
Give us some thumbs up, some hearts. Look at this.
22.
Oh, what about the shirt, though?
Oh, I got this shirt for $20 at Gray Bear. Is that not? And I smell like patchouli. I hope you're not allergic to patchouli.
No, I think patchouli is great.
Okay, because I put it all over me, because the office, I can't work the office, and I love it. It smells good, doesn't it? Yeah, I always think it smells good. It's from Young Living. So I got this for $20 there. We're waiting for you guys to log on. Also, I ordered an avocado green mattress this week. I'm so excited. I spent all my paycheck on this. It better be good. Daggone it. I'm sleeping alone in bed. But I can spread out on my avocado green mattress. I can't wait to tell you all about it. I have no idea. I hope it's a good mattress. It's got 100 days. You can use it for 100 days and then send it back. And so I'm giving my mattress to a friend, and I've been wanting a good mattress, a non-toxic mattress. So if anybody has an avocado mattress, let me know. Yep. I debated on that between a sativa, I think it's sativa or I don't know. Green mattress, several different ones, but avocados, I kept going back to avocado. So
and what she does is she gets her tortilla chips and she just lays it right beside her, and it makes her feel
there will be no eating in this bed. This is sleep and sex only, and apparently it's sleep only. Sleep only in my bed, for crying out loud.
I'm telling you guys. But hey, everybody,
when I'm ready.
Anyway, she's ready for it.
So and I got other surprises for you too coming down the road, but not catch and release. Yeah, I'm catching and releasing.
Dani just catches
until I find a keeper. All right. Also, look here. So Chris walked in and started laughing because under my flocked tree over here that's still not decorated, I've got 6 squatty potties under the tree. And so here they go. There's two here right now, but they're rubber banded together. But these are Christmas presents. I'm giving squatty potties. I'm telling you, I am a barrel of fun. So it's a wonder I don't have a date. Crap. So anyway,
honey, I really love you.
So listen. One thing, while people are logging on, you guys are.
Oh my goodness! So hey,
yes. Stephen can't wait to hear about the mattress. Well, I will share. There'll just be one of us sharing the info about it, but I'll be sure and let you know, Stephen. This book right here is what I read this weekend, Fast Food Genocide. And I didn't read it all because I really started talking a lot this weekend. So Joel Fuhrman, this book is spot on for what I do for a living. And it is, I think he's had some flack on this book, but I highly recommend. Look, I'm only up to page 54. I don't know if y'all can see, but there's the notes I've taken so far. But I want to tell you something while people are getting logged on here, and I just lost the thing. Chris, pick it up here. I just lost my.
Okay, so over the time we were in Great Bear and she was reading this, and we had so many people come up to Dani and talk to her about this, and people around the table listening to her and just having her teach right that time. She was supposed to be relaxing, and then at least one time you're out there on the porch, and you told me that you're out there and they're playing the little drum, and you just fell out of sleep.
The tongue drum. I did fall asleep.
Go ahead, sorry.
But okay, so this is one little part of this that says. Okay, see, fast food French fries have as many as 23 ingredients in them, including sweeteners, salt, anti-foaming agents, preservatives, colorings. There are more of a potato chemical slurry with extra high fructose corn syrup and salt mixed into the batter. After that, they're fried and coated with even more salt. Up to 23 ingredients in a French fry at a fast food restaurant.
So when you're eating that,
it's
not even a fry.
It's not even a French fry.
Good.
I mean, a French fry is a potato. What's a potato? What's a potato?
It's a potato.
It's a potato with a little oil and a little salt, right? Maybe
you ever get a potato that has more ingredients than one?
Unbelievable. And then we're going to get right into Hashimoto's because we've got a lot of people logged on now. So this is about school lunches, right? So if your kids are eating a school lunch, here's what's going on there. Millions of pounds of meat judged unfit to serve in fast food restaurants, right? In fast food restaurants, and it has got to be pretty bad if it's not served there, makes its way into our school cafeteria every year. Meat that is only fit for pet food and compost.
That's horrible.
Is being served at schools, according to a USA Today investigation. The newspaper reported that the Agricultural Marketing Service, which purchases meats for schools, bought meats with levels of E. coli and other bacteria that exceeded acceptable levels for fast food outlets.
That is horrible.
And that's what our kids are getting.
And they wonder why they get sick.
Oh, and this whole thing goes on and on. I mean, this book is fantastic. Fast Food Genocide. It is great. It really is. I mean, I'm impressed with it. So we may even talk about that one day, but that deals with everything I do.
Actually, go pick that up.
I don't know Joel Fuhrman, but he's spot on there.
That was great.
So what's up with you?
What is up with me?
Yep.
We've got a lot of things going on in the office. We are trying to get an online store going on with supplementation. We're trying to get that going this week. And again, we're trying to get a small, we talked about, we'll go back to you, like your YouTube, right? Can we say that? Or
yeah. Oh, yeah. We've got a YouTube. Well, I have a Dani Williamson YouTube channel.
And
Dani
trying to get more in depth about certain viral infections, bacterial and parasitic infections. Starting up a small YouTube channel about that, guys. So if you guys want to know the relationship between parasitic infections and thyroid and anything else, then that's what's going on. We've been doing that. And goodness. So we have this online store, other channels going on to help with that, and starting to develop some different types of supplementation for our
he's doing some big time.
So we're trying to do that.
Formulations.
So we'll try
I'm excited about this.
It's going to be good.
Exciting. I don't want to formulate anything. I'll just private label some things.
You can do it and with your eyes closed. But that's what's been going on. And so guys too, like so when that stuff comes out, just visit drmotley.com and trying to get a list.
But it's Dr. DOCTOR.
for the Facebook and also for Instagram. But if you go on the web, if you put just Dr. Motley, drmotley.com, it'll come right to my website. And we're trying to get together a small list of testing. That's what we've been working on, like giving the patient information about which test to do for certain types of microbial infections. So I'm trying to get that together and put that on there. So
cool.
If you guys have any recommendations, visit the website. We'll put some stuff up, but we'll have that going. But anyway,
it's exciting. Well, Hashimoto's. We're talking about Hashimoto's tonight. Hashimoto's, thyroiditis, and hypothyroidism. So this Friday night is the Hashimoto support group holiday potluck party. So if you're coming to that party at 6:30, you need to RSVP. You probably would have gotten an email, or the Evite is on Facebook. We need to know how many people are coming to that. It's a ton of fun. Excuse me, you can't be there, right?
I can't be there. Okay. I have to be a little bit, but no, I can't be there.
So that's Friday night. Friday day at 11 o'clock is Liberty Bain, who's teaching on art therapy at the office. It's our last lunch and learn of the year. And so that's exciting. That's 11 o'clock. And then that night, Hashimoto's is my baby. This is what got me started in the whole world of functional integrative medicine by accident. They say your specialty, you don't choose your specialty chooses you, and it did. I accidentally misdiagnosed a patient when I first got started, and it was a man. And anyway, I didn't misdiagnose him, I just didn't diagnose him with Hashimoto's, which is exactly what happens with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. They just don't get diagnosed. Years and years and years, patients can go on feeling poorly and just told, well, you know, you're depressed, or, you know, you need to just get up, move a little bit more, things like that. Hashimoto's was originally discovered in 1912 by Dr. Hashimoto, who discovered it in 1912. It is the #1 undiagnosed autoimmune disease in the United States. It is also the #1 thyroid condition in the United States. For approximately 14 million people in the United States have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. It's nothing to laugh about. There's a lot of people walking around undiagnosed. And again, it can go on for decades, right? Hashimoto's can. It's not a thyroid problem. It is an autoimmune disease of the thyroid, but just like every other autoimmune disease, there was the tipping point for something. So for something tipped you over into autoimmune disease. You weren't born with Hashimoto's, right? I wasn't born with lupus. I tipped it over through years of bad food and irritable bowel syndrome. You weren't Hashimoto's. It is a thyroid condition, but it's not a thyroid disease. It is a result of something else going on. Women have autoimmune disease and Hashimoto's 8 to 10 times more than men do. Now, the theory on that is we're the most toxic of the two of us, correct? For multiple reasons. Well, heck, fire. The lotion, the makeup, the hair color, the lipstick, the nail polish remover, the shampoo, the conditioner, the deodorant, the perfume on the thyroid, right? The birth control. Many people speculate that birth control is one of the #1 reasons for autoimmune disease for women. Isn't that something?
It is.
So you got to weigh the risks and benefits.
Totally. They say that oral birth control will actually absorb, or they'll actually increase the thyroid binding molecule inside the body. So the more you take a oral estrogen or oral birth control, you actually decrease the amount of thyroid hormone that's available to the cells. That's exactly right. And that's amazing. It's like the skin cream. They said they haven't had much research on that, but they said the oral can actually do that. And the reason being, because we talked about it, and you were telling me one day, you said, I just watch how much oral they take. And I went, okay. And we had a patient that comes in, and 2 patients came in. One had the skin cream, the other one had the oral, and the one that had the oral had the thyroid issue. And so anyway. Isn't that something? Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So birth control. So mercury amalgams in our mouth, toxin, genetics plays a part. I treat whole families who have Hashimoto's, the children and the mother, or the children and the father, and in one family, the father, the mother, and the children, which is quite interesting because the mother and father aren't genetically connected. Well, unless you're, I was going to say, unless you're from. They said, are IUDs less toxic?
Well, an IUD, so Martha, an IUD, so if you have a Paragard, which is a copper IUD, yes, right? Of course, then again, you get into copper as well in your body, right? Which is another metal. Yes, they are less. Yes. Then you have the Mirena, which is progestin. So I'm not quite sure exactly the study. I don't even doubt there's even studies on that one, but it's still a birth control in there.
Definitely.
Right.
Yes.
Electromagnetic fields, right? All those things fire up the immune system as well. The thyroid. So your thyroid sits right here. If you don't know where your thyroid is, I recommend every single one of you, wherever you're watching from right now, you feel your thyroid. It's right in the front of your throat. And when I went to when I went to the office this afternoon, which is kind of like church for me, this afternoon, I failed to bring my thyroid model. I was going to and show you. It sits right here. So your thyroid is right here. I can barely,
So sorry.
And so you can look in the mirror. You need to look and see, is your thyroid enlarged? And it's the shape of a butterfly. Your thyroid is. That's why your logo and all of that for thyroid things is the shape of a butterfly. Mm-hmm. So in order to feel it, feel like this, you can poke around on it. You can feel if you have nodules or not. Swallow. So the thyroid is what goes up and goes down when you swallow. And I feel thyroids all day, every day. And I'm feeling for nodules. I'm feeling for lumps. I'm feeling for bumps. I'm feeling for, is it large on one side, not the other? You need to look at your thyroid, people.
Yep.
I mean, it's really, really, self-examine. That goes with breast exams and all kinds of stuff like that. But so as a rule, this thyroid gets really large oftentimes for, during Hashimoto, when a patient has Hashimoto's, right? Yes. When you have antibodies. So what Hashimoto's is a collection of antibodies. You have two different kinds, thyroglobulin and thyroglobulin antibodies and thyroid peroxidase antibodies that start accumulating, right? At your thyroid. For me, for lupus, it was kidney stuff and joint pain. This is an autoimmune condition of the thyroid, all right? And then things go a little bit haywire. The MO of Hashimoto's can go from hyper to hypo, hyper to hypo. So I see a lot of patients going to hyperthyroid, heart palpitations, anxiety, weight loss, sweating, diarrhea. Hair can fall out as well, things like that. Yes. When those antibodies are just releasing, and then they'll flip into hypo, right?
Yeah.
And so if they don't have their labs checked during those times, then it looks like, they're just normal because they fluctuate.
And they're misdiagnosed.
They're misdiagnosed many, many, many times. And, more risk factors, iodine intake. And iodine is a big controversy with Hashimoto's, right? Too much iodine, not enough iodine, things like that. Hormone imbalances, fluoride, leaky gut is a big one. I say it's bigger even than many of these other things, right? Because the gut controls everything else going on, right, in your body. Heavy metals, which he works a lot with heavy metals, viruses, bacterial viruses, viral viruses, right?
Yeah.
Those are all things like Epstein-Barr, things that go undiagnosed.
I love dealing with this stuff. Keep going. I love it.
All kinds of excited. These are all triggers, right? Being Caucasian. What? Being Caucasian, right?
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, no joke. So,
all the Caucasian people.
Once you have one autoimmune disease, whether it's lupus, Hashimoto's, rheumatoid arthritis, you're more likely to have 1 to 3. So 1 to 3, up to 3. That's the average. 3 autoimmune diseases is called polyglandular autoimmunity. Right?
Yep.
Celiac disease and Hashimoto's go hand in hand.
Isn't that amazing?
Up to 60% of all Hashimoto. You have a 60% higher rate of celiac disease if you have Hashimoto's. Did you know that? 60%. You also, on a real serious note, not that celiac disease is very serious, but you have a 30% higher rate of cancer with Hashimoto's. This is why I don't mess around with Hashimoto's. I don't joke around about Hashimoto's. When you're diagnosed in my office, you have an immediate thyroid ultrasound. I don't care if your antibodies are 10 points above normal. You have antibodies there. It's not normal to have antibodies. No. It's not normal. No. And I have patients come in all the time with their labs and maybe they're 20 points above normal or 15 points and their doc said, well, it's no big deal. They're just barely elevated. There is no barely elevated. You weren't born with those.
No. If you're getting up towards that limit, we've talked about it a lot. If you get up towards the limit, get to that high, get it checked. Don't wait around. You might as well beat it at the pass.
That's exactly right. And we talked about optimal lab values actually 3 or 4 weeks ago. So there's a whole Sunday night service about optimal lab A's. We're not going to get into optimal lab A's tonight with that, but what labs do you want your provider to check? If you think, in fact, you have Hashimoto's, what are some of the symptoms of Hashimoto's? Anxiety, depression, hair falling out, eyebrows falling out, eyelashes falling out, weight gain, dry skin, constipation, diarrhea.
Brittle nails.
Oh, brittle nails, absolutely. Fatigue. Oh, good Lord, it goes on and on. A big goiter right here. You know, you got a big old goiter, big golf ball looking thing here. These are all symptoms of Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism. And so they'll check a TSH and they say, well, you're fine. Your TSH is 4. You're fine. You're fine. Everything's normal. Well, TSH of 4 is normal, but it is not optimal. An optimal TSH would be anywhere really between 0.5 and 2 is what I tell patients. The average TSH for somebody not on thyroid medicine is 1.4. Okay. So thyroid stimulating hormone, that's your TSH. You need a free T3, a free T4, thyroid antibodies checked, TGA and a TPO, and a reverse T3. Those are the big ones. Those are the big ones. You can replay it if you didn't get it.
And write that down, and that's what you got to do.
Okay. Yeah. What do you see with, because we've got a whole list of supplements and things that we know through clinical studies that help decrease the autoimmunity in the thyroid and the antibodies. But what else do you say about thyroid? I mean, about Hashimoto's.
Hashimoto's, I think as a repeat of what Dani has already said, I think that what we've been doing in the office to follow blood work, especially with Hashimoto's, lately I've been really following LPS or lipopolysaccharides, and the fact that in our practice we talk about, we converse all the time about what I do and what she does, and so I go more of like, we do more of infection stuff at the office, guys. And so the top infections I look for, we always talked about Epstein-Barr, guys, right? Epstein-Barr virus. So you guys can get tested for this with blood tests and serum tests. So if you guys can research this, or if you guys want to find out more or ask us, you can email me, or you can go on to drmotley.com or just Facebook message me about it. But basically what I try to find out, Epstein-Barr virus, cytomegalovirus, those are very chronic issues within the thyroid. I really check for herpes virus, herpes 1 and 2 with people. That shows up a lot. When people come into the office, they'll have a lot of herpes, sometimes an Epstein-Barr. Salmonella. Find a lot of salmonella.
Really?
Get tested for salmonella. In my opinion, get tested for salmonella. H. pylori. And E. coli. Like she just said in the book, where they're given food like this that has E. coli. So when anybody comes in with Hashimoto's already diagnosed or has a concern about it with the levels that you've talked about, I ask them to get this checked, or I see if they've already had it checked. The next one will be Lyme. And a lot of people have Lyme disease or its co-infections.
Amber's watching. She's got Lyme. She says, Amber, dang, I'm a white female. Thyroid issues, Lyme disease, co-infections, and Epstein-Barr. Yeah. Lord have mercy. It's all right, Amber. We got you. You're covered here. We love you.
That's the top infections. And one of the research we've been talked about, and I've looked into, is LPS, lipopolysaccharides.
Are you checking LPS? I do LPS with blood with Dunwoody.
I have people bring their blood work in, and we check that. And I do have a separate way to do with frequency with a vial that checks for lipopolysaccharide.
Oh, wow.
And remember, lipopolysaccharides are just basically a bacterial cell has its wall, like the bricks on a wall, and lipopolysaccharides are the small bricks. And so when a bacteria tears apart, those bricks fall into the tissue and then eventually get in the bloodstream. Now, the crazy thing why I've been checking it more, because we talked about it. You told me to check LPS. And I did. I've really checked it a lot. They said that LPS is very important because if you have high amounts of LPS, it decreases the amount of T4 converted to T3.
Yes, it does.
Because you basically, and it also does this, it will decrease the amount of thyroid receptors on a cell wall, which means that a person can come in with a blood test, guys, that says their thyroid levels are normal, but they'll have the symptoms of hypothyroid, because the LPS is so high because of the infection. And they'd also, this is the great thing, they said, not great thing, but they said the NIS, they said that a person with NIS has...
What's that? What's the NIS?
It's called sodium iodine symporter. Okay, so it's a gene that says
I forgot about that.
It increases the uptake of iodine in your thyroid if you have decreased amounts of selenium, which you talked about. Which
we're getting ready to talk about.
Which would give you Hashimoto's. So when you have LPS increases the uptake of that iodine into your thyroid because it basically could give you Hashimoto's. So we've been doing a lot of LPS stuff, and when we talk about the infections, I really checked infections over and over. And with that, I will get into supplements, but I'll say this. The other thing you told me the other day when we talked about, we have checked a lot of gut dysfunction, right?
Yep.
So one cool fact, guys, I want to tell, we checked a lot of gallbladder issues. So my nerd side's coming out. You have a primary bile, right? Bile comes out of the gallbladder, helps emulsify fats. But gut bacteria, we talked about good bacteria, takes bile and converts it into secondary bile. And the secondary bile, well, basically, it can increase your conversion of T4 to T3. So having healthy gut bacteria actually converts your T4 to T3. So you got to make sure your gallbladder is pretty healthy too.
And your liver, because T3 is made in the liver, converted in the liver as well. So, well, it all has to be healthy.
It all has to be healthy.
And if you're, I don't know where my fast food book went over there, but I mean, we have set ourselves up for the perfect storm of chronic illness. I mean, chronic illness. Yeah. We're going to have a job until the day we die. I mean, there is no lack of sick people.
We're going to be white-haired and it's going to be great.
I'm not being white-haired. I'm telling you right now, as long as my
she had a foot bath in her foot bath this weekend and it was red and she kept thinking, it's like my hair going to change color.
Oh my gosh. So I had a foot bath, right? This weekend's getting out heavy metals and toxins and all this stuff. And they turned different colors, and mine was actually pretty clean. I mean,
it was pretty clean.
It was orange. It was orange red, but it was see-through. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be gray haired by the time. If this is sucking all the color out of my hair, I'm gonna kill her. I mean, Kalia was there doing it, and I'm not.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine, but yeah, it was funny. So no, I'm not gonna be old. I may get old, but I doubt I'm gonna be gray. I just don't know. But anyway, and that's a big problem too with autoimmune diseases, hair color, right?
It is hair
and
color.
Where do we put it? Right in the brain. I mean, right on the head, which soaks into the brain. So anyway. Yep. Okay, Hashimoto's. What else?
I'm just saying with LPS, guys, with that
LPS, that's a big one.
Look into research, guys. Apple pectin has been shown to actually absorb and get rid of LPS or lipopolysaccharides.
I also use
in the blood.
Ramped up vitamin A, high doses of vitamin D, and then increasing the protein in your diet. This is what Dr. Burdett at Dunwoody Labs has recommended.
Isn't that amazing though? The vitamin D and vitamin A activate your vitamin D receptor, which fights infection. So, yeah. Go for it.
So that's what I use. I had no idea you were doing it. Good.
Love it.
Good. So, okay. So if y'all have questions, we'll answer those later. But so Hashimoto's, big problem. It is a big problem. It needs to be checked. Your antibodies need to be checked. I run that support group for 7 years, and I'm telling you, the stories I've heard the last 7 years are just heartbreaking on how people are not treated, period, just not treated. If you have a doctor who won't check your labs, who doesn't listen to you, or you have a healthcare provider, a nurse practitioner, or a physician's assistant, if they don't listen, then you need to find a new one. I'm sorry. You don't owe them anything. You're paying their salary. If you don't like me, go somewhere else, for crying out loud. If you don't like him, go somewhere else. I mean, good Lord, you got one life here.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know, maybe we got a whole bunch of lives, but so far we got this one. We better take care of it. So what are we going to do about it? Right? We know that women are 8 to 10 times more susceptible to Hashimoto's. And I think, we have babies and our hormones go crazy and we're under stress and, stress. We had a whole show on stress and talk about how that kills you, didn't we?
Yes.
Did we? Okay.
Yeah, we had a lot of response from that one.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Good,
and so, diet, sleep, and exercise are key. In fact, we're going to talk about diet first. Let's talk about diet before we talk about supplements, right?
Okay, diet. Let's go.
The number one thing you have to do in order to decrease the antibodies in the thyroid is no gluten ever again. And I mean never. I mean never. No gluten. Gluten means glue. Right? It's glue. And that's exactly what it does to your body, is it glues everything together. There's not one condition in 8 years that I have ever told that patient, you need to eat more bread to make that better.
So I'm not laughing at it.
What's funny about that?
Yeah, you're like, and that's true. It's like, could you ever imagine her coming in and go, you need a loaf of bread.
You need to go get some bunny bread, like so on my dad's counter at home
bread?
in Calvert City, Kentucky. Wonder bread,
okay,
bunny bread, or I don't know if I'll say. So anyway, gluten. Gluten is the number one inflammatory agent of the thyroid food-wise. And we have plenty of literature. If you're sitting over there going, ha ha, yeah, right. Yeah, there's lots of literature. And this book right here, which is the Bible for Hashimoto's thyroiditis, the root cause. This is Dr. Isabella Wentz, who is a pharmacist. This book is hands down the best book I've ever read on Hashimoto's. It goes through the entire pathophysiology and everything. Yeah, look, she's got this whole chart there that you can see. That's the big Bible right there. This is the first book I ever read, Hope for Hashimoto's. And several of you all that are watching right now, because I've seen you, Mary Ellen, you're on, and there's several people that, so I got into Hashimoto's. I had no idea what it was. I didn't diagnose this guy. So I got this book and I read it and I was like, wow. And this man's phone number was in the back of this book, Dr. Haskell. I called. No. He answered the phone in Utah. He's in Utah. I paid this man $1,000 to fly out here. We had 80 people. Do y'all remember this? Look, hearts are going up. We paid him $1,000 to come. He charged me $1,000 for 8 hours of education on Hashimoto's. That was my baptism into Hashimoto's. It was at Williamson Medical Center. We had all gluten-free food. We had 8 hours this man talked. It was incredible. Yeah, it was amazing. Go to him. This book was great. Things have changed since then, and some of the guidelines have changed. Like he says, absolutely no iodine ever in here, and he has since changed his tune on that a little bit, but this is a really, really well-written book. And this is good. This is good. Susie Cohen's excellent, but I'll tell you what, my all-time favorite, Isabella Wentz. This one right here, Why Do I Still Have Thyroid Symptoms When All My Labs Are Normal? Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is a great book. He's fantastic. And Stop the Thyroid Madness. This is a big one right here. This has got a whole lot of stuff in it here. So there's a lot of great information out there, but those are like the top 5 books that I think are the best. Oh yeah. And the protocols, I've come up with my protocols through the years and tweak them. And I tweaked them again when Isabella Wentz came out with some stuff as well. But the diet, number 1, no gluten. And I tell patients no dairy. No dairy. A lot of my patients have an inflamed, they feel their thyroid, they feel throat symptoms, they feel the thyroid fuller when they eat dairy. Yeah. And that means cheese. Cheese. No cheese, no sour cream, no yogurt, no butter, no cottage cheese, no cheese. No cheese. No milk. No milk. And I think that we've seen people come in the office, and the hardest thing for most people, everybody can give up sugar, right, guys? Carbs, you can give up sometimes bread, but people cannot give up cheese. Cheese is like one of the hardest things that people can give up. But we've seen it even this weekend when we went out there. Like, there's a lot of things, guys, that we love, but if you literally live that lifestyle for like 2 weeks and just get off of it, your cravings go down a bit. They do go down. They go down. Yeah. I was off of it for almost 5 weeks, and then I ate a bunch of cheese at Thanksgiving, nearly died. Just died, almost died. You were here. Well, you were here when I was dying at night. But so somebody asked, what about hypothyroid? Well, we're talking about hypothyroid and Hashimoto's kind of in conjunction tonight. Hashimoto's is the number 1 reason for hypothyroidism. Yeah. Number one reason is Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So if you have hypothyroidism and you haven't had Hashimoto's ruled out, you quite possibly have Hashimoto's. Now, you don't always. I check patients every week who are just straight up hypothyroid. They do not have Hashimoto's, but I treat people the same way. Yes. No gluten. No dairy. Yep. It is a very inflammatory food. Supplement wise, it's a little bit different, but still with hypothyroidism, I tell patients, watch out the perfume, the lotion, the makeup, the hair, all of the things that are going to inflame the immune system, right? Exactly. It's the same thing. So it's not the same thing, but I treat it the same way oftentimes. And then the treatment actually is oftentimes the same. So talking about diet though, again, real quick, sorry, I'm a little bit ADD right there. Cruciferous vegetables. Do you have patients ask about that? So your goitrogenic food, right? That cause big goiters. The broccoli and the cabbages and the cauliflower. Yeah. And they said that if you I like the way you say that, cauliflower. I say that too, like that. And bok choy, bamboo shoots, broccolini, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Collard greens, kale. Peanuts, right? Peanuts are on there. Peaches. Did you know peaches are a goitrogenic food? Radishes, rapeseed, rapini, I don't even know what that is, R-A-P-I-N-I, rutabagas, dang, those rutabagas, spinach, strawberries, soy. Soy's a big one you don't ever want to mess around with Hashimoto's. Sweet potatoes, turnips. I love turnips. So those are goitrogenic foods. But then you get into the cruciferous vegetables like the broccoli, the kale, the cauliflower, the cabbage, the Brussels sprouts, things like that, that I tell patients you have to eat a whole lot of cruciferous vegetables in order to really, really, really affect the thyroid. But eating them raw is more difficult, is harder on the thyroid. Yes. So they recommend we lightly steam your cruciferous vegetables.
You know, it's a funny thing, guys. It's like
what Chinese, they do is they block the uptake of iodine.
That's exactly right.
I failed to say that, so I want to make sure we know that. They block the uptake of iodine in your body, and we have to have iodine to make thyroid hormone.
Isn't it amazing? Like in Chinese medicine, they always say that you should not eat something completely raw. They always say to lightly steam it or lightly stir fry it.
I didn't know that.
Guys, they say that when you eat something, that your body has to produce a lot of enzymes to break down a raw substance, which creates, it requires more energy within your body to actually break down the raw food. I hope that makes sense. But if you lightly steam it, it's already broken down slightly by the heat, so your body doesn't have to use that much energy to actually break it down. So that's one reason when you can lightly steam a broccoli or a cauliflower or a cabbage, and it actually is easier on the thyroid. But isn't that amazing?
It also says fermented. So, you know, lightly steamed or fermented vegetables as well. And you he ate some kimchi last night. He got a little, what's the word?
Little Korean
counterfeit kimchi last night. Well, everybody else didn't have any, but you
Thanks,
know.
Kalia.
And soy, Kalia gave us soy has been linked with the development of autoimmune thyroid conditions, and children fed soy formula were almost 3 times more likely to develop Hashimoto's compared with breastfed children. Isn't that something? Soy-fed formula. And then you think you're doing the right thing. You don't know. You know, your baby can't take, maybe you couldn't breastfeed, or maybe you chose not to breastfeed, and that's your choice. And they couldn't take the formula. And then you get into soy formula, and they take it beautifully, and you fed them soy for all this time, thinking you were doing the right thing. And then you have a 3 times higher rate of an autoimmune condition. That's something. But the diet is key. The diet is key with any condition. Hypothyroidism, Graves' disease. We're not getting into Graves. Sorry, Nancy, if you're watching tonight, we're not getting into Graves. But any condition, lupus, IBS, depression, diabetes, right? We had all this talk this weekend. Your diet is the key to the entire thing. Just specifically for sure for Hashimoto's, gluten is your big booger.
It is.
It's your big booger. It's the big booger.
You got to fight against that,
Yes, you do. And then supplement-wise, right? We have to cool the thyroid down. So what is Hashimoto's thyroiditis, right? Just like arthritis, gastritis, colitis, sinusitis, vasculitis, blah, blah, itis. Itis means inflammation, right? So you're going to have to cool the thyroid down and prime it back up to work, which is what I tell patients, you know, we have to do. I cool it down with things like fish oil, right? EPA, DHA, 720. I use that one from Metagenics. There's good fish oils out there, but I am very picky about fish oil. Are you?
I'm very picky because you have to be very careful because fish oils can go rancid very fast.
You bet they can. And if they're stored in a warehouse.
Exactly. Think about it leaving a fish out, seriously, guys, for a long period of time. And the way it smells, that's exactly it's exactly what happens to a fish capsule, right? When you leave it out, or it's not sealed right, or it's not the right brand.
Or it's ordered on Amazon. Do not order your fish oil on Amazon, for crying out loud. If I end up dead, y'all are going to know why. Somebody's going to come, some Amazon's going to come drone me through my front door over there and put me out.
Stop it.
Do not order your fish oil from Amazon, for crying out loud. You know, go to some little place and get your fish oil where it's not sitting on the docks and getting rancid and hot and cold and not stored properly. But I cool the thyroid down with fish oil. Glutathione.
Love glutathione.
Cools the thyroid down. I failed to bring that today from the office. Glutathione, the master antioxidant, which mops up all the free radicals in your body, right? It's the #1 antioxidant out there. If we can't afford glutathione, I use N-acetylcysteine to cool the thyroid down, right? And that is a precursor to glutathione. So they both help detoxify the liver. They help cool the body down. They help mop up free radicals and get rid of oxidized stress. Vitamin A. So I cool it down with fish oil, glutathione, vitamin A, or N-acetylcysteine, right? Turmeric. I use really good turmeric at the office, and that's Gaia, a great. I use Gaia. Well, yes, I do love Gaia. I have switched over to Metagenics turmeric. They have a brand new one in inflavonoid intensive inflavonoid something. It has boswellia in it, frankincense, turmeric. It's got all kinds of incredible things in it. So we have it now at the office. I love it. And I use probiotics. I use a lot of probiotics which don't directly affect the thyroid. They do affect the thyroid because they affect the gut, and what affects the gut affects everything else in your body, right?
Yep.
That's how I cool the thyroid down. And then I prime it back up with selenium. And I personally use Pure Encapsulations selenium. I don't get paid for this like Isabella Wentz does. She gets paid to say about selenium, but I love Pure. So she uses a lot of other things. Selenium, 200 micrograms a day. We have study after clinical study on the power of selenium decreasing thyroid antibodies, right?
Yes.
200 micrograms a day of selenium has been studied. So I use anywhere from 200 to 400. It depends. Food.
I just want to say, guys, if you're saying a microgram, your body is so strong that a microgram is like taking the end of your tip of your pencil or pen, and it's like this much on your pen. It's right here. It's like a microgram.
Well, think of an aspirin. An aspirin is 325 milligrams, and we pop that like it's just no tomorrow.
And this is micrograms.
These are micrograms. Yeah, teeny tiny. And 2 to 4 Brazil nuts a day should have about 400 or 200 micrograms of selenium in it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, bringing down. So I usually start people off on selenium, no matter what. If they said I can afford one thing for my thyroid, and you have Hashimoto's, 200 micrograms of a good selenium.
I tell you, that's good because, like, remember, decrease in selenium and increase in iodine uptake in thyroid could lead to Hashimoto. So you got to keep your selenium up.
You bet. Zinc. Selenium and zinc work together, right?
Oh, yes.
15 to 45 milligrams a day of zinc. So usually I give patients, this is 30 milligrams, which is kind of right in the middle. I give them 30 milligrams a day of zinc, which helps with your immunity as well. But it really helps prime this thyroid back up to work.
And it helps with it when the lady talked about IUD. Zinc also offsets copper. So you have to have a certain amount of copper with zinc, and it'll actually keep it balanced if you take zinc.
Yep, so you're right about that. And then ashwagandha. So there's been some studies recently on ashwagandha helping convert T4 to T3 in your body, right?
That's good.
It'll help with antibodies, but it also does help convert T4 to T3, which is fantastic. And that's what we want. T3 is your metabolism, your get up and go in your body. So ashwagandha is one of my all-time favorites. I used a ton of ashwagandha when we talked about adrenals recently. I love ashwagandha. And this is one capsule twice a day. And it's about 200 and something milligrams at a time.
I love ashwagandha. I take one capsule 3 times a day, especially when I work, because people say it calms you down, but you know what they say in Ayurvedic? It actually gives you energy too when you get up. So as you get up, it actually helps your adrenals to actually get up and go.
Now I've never used 8 years. I've never used thiamine. What? Do you use it? Yes. I just got it in the office. And the reason I did is because I read a blog from Isabella Wentz on this, and I thought, tell me about it. What?
Biphomax is a higher.
What is? Well, I mean, I know what it is. You tell me.
It's a higher. Is this a word? Absorbable? No, it's more the capacity to absorb benfo, or like it's a T1 type derivative. So you have
which is B1.
Exactly.
Right?
You have a B1, and they have found that B1, vitamin B1, is hard to absorb, but this benfo form is actually very easily converted into the bloodstream, so you can actually absorb it quite a bit faster. And in the Krebs cycle and in the development of enzymes that help break down from T4 to T3, that B1 is one of the main components. So they found that benfo, and there's another one from Zymogen. And if you guys want to go, so Zymogen and Pure Encapsulation both have this form, and I take it.
I would probably like Zymogen's better. I didn't know that. Brooke, you should let me know about that one.
Give me a thumbs up.
Well, anyway, I'm excited about this one. And yes, Adele just said ashwagandha is a nightshade, and some people do not do well with nightshades. That is exactly right. And you are right, spot on, Adele. That's true. Most people do fine that in my office now. But yes, you do have the potential for this to cause some problems, and everybody's different with nightshades, right? It could raise the inflammation in the thyroid a little bit, but for the most part,
not too much. They always say, like, you know, because it has a lot of solanine. It has a bit of solanine in it. But remember, if you're an adrenal body type, when we talk about the mesomorph, the person who's very muscular, right, that has a lot of strength in them, look for the adrenal body type or the mesomorph, and those people, those individuals usually have more of a problem with ashwagandha. So if, like with us, we're a thin body type, or people who are a little bit shorter and a little bit more filled out, those two body types usually don't have a problem. Usually the big, strong adrenal type usually have problems with it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See why I like him. He's so smart.
So if you're an adrenal body type, remember adrenal body types are my hands are very thin and very skinny, right? Very numb.
Lord, mine are short and they're not fat. They're short and stubby. I have very stubby hands.
Short and stubby,
Look at
right?
that.
Guys, so mine's very long. And
mine are square and short.
Square and short.
I'm glad I have them, but they're not pretty.
They're shorter, but if you have the individual, if you have a very thick hand with thick fingers, like I hate to call them sausage digits, like you see those guys with big fat palms.
That's how my hands used to look when I was eating whatever I wanted.
Exactly.
And I was so sick. They looked like sausages. And I could barely bend them. They were so sore.
That's it. If you can look at your hand and see that, because if they do have that adrenal body type, the solanines and the ashwagandha could be a problem.
Really?
So, yeah. Just keep an eye on that, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is to cool it down, right? I mean, I'm sorry, to prime it back up to work. I used a little bit of iodine. Now, I didn't. For years, I would not. I told everybody you had to be off iodine. You had to be off iodine. But iodine is so protective. Iodine is breast cancer protective. If you have fibrocystic breast, if you have big breast, little breast, the bigger, well, Dr. Brownstein says the bigger the breast, the more iodine you need, right? If you have fibrocystic breast, which I only need like apparently 1 drop twice a month. If you have fibrocystic breast, if you've got, it's terrible. Look, you can't even tell. I mean, nothing. Flat as you right there. I give 225 micrograms of iodine a day. Now, this is up for, we're not going to debate about iodine because everybody's got something different to say about it. 225 a day is not going to hurt you. I use an iodine. I use 2 different ones. This one has 72 trace minerals in it, and I love that. I like this one. This is from Trace Minerals, actually. So it's ionic iodine with 72 different trace minerals and potassium iodide. It's not going to hurt you. It helped me a ton when I realized that iodine is breast cancer protective, right? High estrogen, who gets breast cancer? Women like me going through menopause, going 200 and something days without a period until last week, out of the blue. I swear it was the pecan pie and the cheese I ate at Thanksgiving. Started a period.
I really believe it.
Nearly a year. I was a couple months away from a year without a period, but when I was really having a period every month like I was supposed to, iodine helped me tremendously with breast tenderness and with fibrocystic breast, because I've got these lumpy, bumpy little, the cysts are as big as the breast themselves. So anyway, sorry. Iodine is fantastic for, and we are. Most everyone I check, yes, Martha, it's funny.
Oh, my word.
Iodine, most everyone I check in with iodine levels on are low in iodine.
Yes.
Isn't that something?
Yes. And you always,
we're eating, or I'm not, and my patients aren't those French fries and all that's got all that iodine and stuff in it from the salt. But sea salt does not have iodine in it, right?
No, they do.
Naturally.
It does not. We use a small compound called alaria, and it's a seaweed compound that's broken down, and we give that to patients if they've ever showed a sensitivity to iodine. If it's too strong for the thyroid, I'd give them like a seaweed. A lot of, like, my mother's Asian, and we come from Asian background, and they eat quite a bit of seaweed, and you don't really hear about a lot of Asian cultures having hypothyroid or anything of that sort. So and with the estrogen breakdown,
and they eat a lot of soy too, and you don't see a lot of problems with soy, but they're eating the real stuff, right?
Right. And if you guys go into like research a bit about how when estrogen gets broken down, because estrogen is stored in the breast and the hips, like breast cancer and ovarian cancer. If you look at it, one of the main components, like we're talking about iodine, we're talking about selenium, those are the main minerals that actually help break down estrogen. And if you can break down estrogen properly, your liver can process it out and you can pee it out, and you won't have that buildup of estrogen, which causes lumps.
Wow.
So, anyway,
so then I love thyroid support complex. So now this is one of my things. It's
one of my favorites.
You know, I love this one. I love this. I've used this with patients forever, and it's got everything in it, from L-tyrosine to ashwagandha to forskolly to Googles to turmeric to all your zinc, selenium, Ds, A's, C's, all of that. This is a fabulous supplement right here. In fact, both of these are. T150 from Zymogen is probably, actually, Chad Yarbrough taught me about T150.
Chad.
And I love Chad. I don't know if you're on, but this one is great. I use a ton of these two right here, especially when people do not want to start thyroid medicine. Yeah, right? So they're kind of borderline. They're borderline. They're like, my TSH is high normal. Maybe they have hypothyroidism. Maybe they don't. I use both of these for hypo and for patients without Hashimoto's and hypo. Gotcha. Right? That didn't make sense. Anyway, I use it for Hashimoto's and hypo patients as well, or not. They don't have hypo, but they're just suboptimal. Both of these are excellent. They're very excellent good supplements. Products right here. I mean, this one is all glandulars. It is thyroid, thymus, spleen, adrenal, pituitary, glandulars from grass-fed bovine cows, bovine are cows, all over the place. Argentina bovine, they must have better adrenals than we do. And then the New Zealand ones. So, yeah, none of these come from America, which ought to tell you something.
They say, Argentina.
Right. These are excellent products right here. If you're just a little sluggish, If you're hyperthyroid, absolutely not. But if your TSH is normal or high normal, these are good ones right here to give you a little kickstart, and they're not going to hurt you. And then I use 2 essential oils for the thyroid. I use lemongrass, and it's just a drop right here on the thyroid.
And you were talking about how long does it take an oil or something to seep into the skin? Like
26 seconds. What you put on your body, you put in your body. So, that smells good. And then, isn't that smell good? It smells good. Patchouli, lemongrass. I smell like a big old hippie. And then there's frankincense. And this is what I use. And again, I tell the same thing to everybody. If it's good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for me.
We got myrrh and gold.
Right. We got it all over there. Right. We're burning frankincense in here. And then another drop of frankincense on the thyroid. I put it on my face too. People always ask about my skin. I put frankincense on not that my skin's so good. That's great. Snotty actually. But I put frankincense on my thyroid and I put it on my skin. I don't have Hashimoto's and I don't have hypothyroidism, thank goodness. But frankincense and lemongrass, I can't make any claims on this because, that's way illegal and the FDA will come after me in a heartbeat. But I've heard that these work beautifully.
They do.
Yeah.
And I've had patients that have taken frankincense, guys, and had lumps on their thyroid. You stick it right through it and their lumps gone away.
You bet. And also breast lumps now. And that's, again, we're getting into a sketchy thing there. Low dose naltrexone. I personally take low dose naltrexone every single night. I don't put everybody on LDN, but low dose naltrexone was a game changer for me at bringing down the lupus antibodies and the pain in my body. And so we could do a whole night on low dose naltrexone. If you don't know what it is, look up LDN for autoimmune disease. And somebody knows what it is. They've got hearts coming up here. Naltrexone blocks pain receptors in the night between 2 and 4:30 in the morning, right?
Yep.
We give it to patients in high doses to come off of heroin, right? To stop that addiction. Yeah, so that's what it's originally designed for, right? So we give it in teeny tiny low doses, 1.5 milligrams, 3 milligrams, 4.5 milligrams. You ramp it up. It's unbelievable. You sleep phenomenal. Vivid dreams are the only side effect for the most part. Vivid dreams, not like sex dreams or anything like that. Just vivid dreams. Daggone it, I'm stopping that tonight.
Avocado mattress.
I'm telling you, I don't need anything going on.
Gracious, stop it.
Anyway, low dose naltrexone is I watch patients' antibodies come down beautifully on low dose naltrexone because it decreases inflammation in the body.
Yes.
It's one of the big ones. And then, of course, we have to make sure your iron levels and your B12 levels are optimal, right? Vitamin C, L-glutamine, and betaine hydrochloric acid, pepsin. Betaine hydrochloric acid with pepsin is fantastic as well to begin to decrease inflammation.
Oh, right? That's beautiful. Like what now? We were talking the other day when we were talking about the different types of NP and we talked about WP. WP and Nature Thyroid, and there's a big shortage that's been going around.
Oh yeah.
What do you recommend, and what do you recommend? Because I've had a ton of patients ask about the shortage that's been going on.
Well,
what's the reason behind
Nature
that?
Thyroid is back on the market at 65 milligrams right now. So Randy over at Allen Hill Pharmacy has got 1,000 pills or something of 65 milligrams, and so it's going to start trickling in. WP. Okay, so those are the supplements. Okay. Then we get into prescriptions, right? The prescriptions, which would be your prescription medicine, your Synthroids, your synthetic thyroid medicine, which is fine. I've got hundreds and hundreds of people on Synthroid, and they do absolutely fantastic. Yeah. I mean, so Synthroid is not the devil. There is no gluten in Synthroid. People say, oh, there's gluten in Synthroid. No, there's not. There is no gluten in Synthroid. They cannot guarantee that it is not cross-contaminated, because Synthroid is manufactured in a plant that there could be some cross-contamination, but the actual ingredients, there's no gluten in Synthroid. Okay. And it works beautifully with hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's patients. Then you get into your desiccated pig thyroid, right? Mm-hmm. Armor was the first one out there. Armor Thyroid, Nature Thyroid, WP, West Thyroid, NP Thyroid, multiple, ERFA, ERFA, all of those different ones right there that have T4 and T3 in it from pigs. Are they organic pigs, grass-fed pigs? Absolutely not. These pigs are fed whatever, and they're not. This is not anything that it's not organic. It's not non-GMO, all that stuff. It's just pig thyroid medicine. The pig thyroid is more identical to a human thyroid than any other animal thyroid.
There's a company out there called Biotics International, guys, and they also have they call it GTA Forte, and it's GTA Forte 2 as well. So GTA, and they have a supplement that has porcine thyroid in it, and they actually add zinc and selenium in different forms. We sell some of those at the office, and that seems to be pretty good too. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of fillers in it and things of that sort.
Yeah, that's why I like T1 Fit, because it's got the whole thing in it, right? It's got all of, well, actually this one does not have the porcine in it. No, it does not. Yeah, there's a lot of questions that we'll answer. And for the low-dose naltrexone, Adele asked hypo and hyper or Hashimoto's. It can be used for either. I'm just a big fan of low-dose naltrexone in general for any autoimmune condition. Yep. If you look it up, I mean, multiple sclerosis, there's studies, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, I don't know about Alzheimer's, autoimmune disease, rheumatoid arthritis, regular arthritis. Yeah, I mean, it helps my joint pain.
Definitely. I would say that.
And you don't realize how amazing it is working until you decide, I don't need it. And you stop it.
And you stop
and then you go, then you got these little sausages again. It's true.
Remember that every cell in your body has a receptor for a thyroid hormone.
Every cell in your body has a thyroid receptor. Is that not fascinating?
It's fascinating. And what does a thyroid hormone do? It actually tells your cell to create energy to actually do what it's supposed to do. So if we're talking about a cell that's in your quad or in your heart or in your lungs, your thyroid hormone receptor is so important because it tells it to create energy to do what you want it to do. So when we talk about gut health and we're talking about what to take and what these supplements are doing, that's why gut health is so important, because if you are having anything in your gut that's actually blocking the conversion of T4 to T3, you're not allowing those things to get to the cells to create energy.
That's right. The thyroid is called the master gland. Mm-hmm. It controls every single metabolic function in your body. Yep. Every single metabolic function. Every cell in your body from the top of your head to the tip of your toes has a thyroid receptor. Your lungs, your ovaries, your spleen, your vagina, your testes, your lungs, they all have, well, it's true. They all have thyroid receptors. So infertility. If you're having an infertility problem, you need to have your thyroid looked at, right? Not just to TSH. You need to have it all looked at. If you high cholesterol and hypothyroidism go hand in hand. I mean, so this is the master gland. You can't live without it. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't live without it. You have to be on thyroid medicine the rest of your life. Now I have patients who have half a thyroid and they're fine. They don't take thyroid medicine. The other half is still working really well. But you can't live without this. It is the master gland, and we're not taught enough, protect the thyroid. It controls every single metabolic function, how fast you go, how slow you go. is determined by this thermostat right here.
It is. And I think that it's a great point that when we talk about inflammation, about dairy, and talk about gluten, and we talk about sugar, guys, anything that would create inflammation in your body or your body type is going to make your thyroid work harder, right? Because the thyroid is only responding to what your adrenals are telling it. Basically,
that's right.
It's like if you have something that you're fighting, if you put your body under stress, emotional, chemical, food, remember, your body's going to respond to that, and it's going to make your thyroid work harder. And that's why you have to follow the rules. In this day and age with all the toxins that are going around, you have to follow some rules. It's hard. We know that. We sympathize with you. But it's the point where you have to follow the rules. And we see people every day get better and better because they follow simple rules. And the great thing about even this weekend about Gray Bear, we had all these people that had to follow rules. And they were just like, well, we can't eat this. And you have this camaraderie of people who's like, I can't eat this and I can't eat that. And we were just like, we can't either. And a lot of them are living testimonies that they failed.
That's right. Yeah. That's exactly right. So, well, I was looking here. Melody asked, what's your opinion of NatureThyroid? I love NatureThyroid. I use a lot of NatureThyroid. Unfortunately, NatureThyroid's still on back order. For the most of it is on back order. I use a lot of NatureThyroid. I use more WP thyroid than I do any with Hashimoto's. WP only uses coconut oil and chicory root as a filler. The other ones have more filler. So it stands for West Thyroid Pure. That's what WP stands for. It is the cleanest, the purest of them all of the desiccated pig thyroids.
Oh, okay? I did not know that.
Yes. So then you have West Thyroid above it, and then you have NatureThyroid above that, has more fillers in it. Then you have Armor. Armor uses, hello Ella, Armor uses dextrose in it. The dextrose from the and Armor is from cornstarch. Well, some people don't like that, and it's not non-GMO corn, I don't think. I could be wrong. Maybe it is. I doubt it because it's not very expensive. But I have a lot of patients who do really well on Armor thyroid. I have patients who do well on everything, absolutely everything. And I don't write levothyroxine, right? Because I don't use generic thyroid medicine. I only use Synthroid, or I use the brand of the Armor and NatureThyroid, et cetera, and all of that, because generic thyroid medicine, generic medicine in general can be off 20% underactive to 26% overactive.
Oh man.
That's generic. That's the law. That's the FDA guidelines. So it can be 80% effective up to 126% effective. Wow. With a thyroid that is a very narrow therapeutic index drug, NTI drug, meaning small changes in increments can change the entire amount that's in the bloodstream. So a thyroid is dosed in micrograms, right? Synthroid's in 100 micrograms, 112 micrograms, 125 micrograms, a microgram. So if you're 20% underdosed or 26% overdosed, that can throw you into hyper or hypo.
Ooh, yeah.
So I only use Synthroid if I'm going to use synthetic. Because levothyroxine, there's 20-something manufacturers of levothyroxine. So what that means is you're going to get a different brand, a different pharmaceutical company making that thyroid medicine every month. And if your thyroid is difficult to regulate, then it could be because you're on generic thyroid medicine and you're getting a different company every month. One month you're underdosed. I can
see that, yes.
1 month you're overdosed. And so at the very least, if you're going to be on generic thyroid medicine, you get 3 months at a time.
Yeah.
So I know for a fact you have 3 months of the same manufacturer, because the pharmacies are going to get what's cheapest that month. They don't order the same thing in for you every month, right? They're going to get what's cheapest.
Just like any business,
absolutely.
Basically.
So people don't understand. They don't know that generic pharmaceuticals are fine. They're fine. You can take a generic antibiotic. You can take a generic what have you, cough medicine if you need it. But you do not want a generic thyroid medicine, seizure medication, or blood thinner medication. I do not want too much seizure medication or too little seizure medication, or too much blood thinner or too little thinner, or too much thyroid or too little thyroid. So those are the three things that I never, ever prescribe generic.
I can see what you're saying, because when she talks about, in my opinion, like generic, you guys have to be careful too, because companies are as cost effective as any other brand or any company that you see. As in, if you have a company that can use a certain type of binder or certain type of filler that's cheaper, right? That can bind the components together.
That's right.
They'll put it in there so that it's cheaper and it can get through the system faster into their machines. and they can pump it out really quickly.
Exactly.
So just because you save a little bit of money for it, it doesn't mean it's the best. And because, like, remember, we're talking about thyroid, gut health, and liver health. And whatever your body can assimilate the quickest and most efficient is the healthiest for you.
That's exactly right.
If you can't break it down properly, like
That's
she's
right.
saying, and you get something, your body will take effect and you'll feel sick, even though that substance is supposed to help you.
That's right. Well, Judy says that she was switched off of levothyroxine onto Synthroid, and she feels so much more stable.
Yeah.
I watch that every single week in my office.
Yeah.
If a patient comes in, and we see a lot of thyroid patients every week, they come in on levothyroxine. The majority of them do. I will change them right in the office. I will give them samples right then of Synthroid, and the majority of the time they feel much, much better. I only write, I think, maybe 3 generics right now, and they for thyroid medicine, 3 patients, because they feel fine. They do fine, and I do it for 3 months at a time, but I don't write it. I do not do it. And then there's also compounded thyroid medicine, which we've had to do a tremendous amount of for darn sure the last 6 months or so, now that Nature Thyroid and WP are on back order. Mm-hmm. So compounded thyroid medicine comes from the compounding pharmacy, right? And the beauty of it, generally it's compounded in the exact same doses like Armor, Nature Thyroid, West Thyroid, WP, same dosing, right? Generally. But the beauty of compounding is if you need less T4, levothyroxine, but you need more T3, which is liothyronine. T3 is your energy, your metabolism, your get up and go, the gas pedal of the body. Then I can tweak that and have it compounded. And I can have Randy or Mark Binkley or whoever, Tommy at Green Hills Pharmacy, everybody. I can say, well, he needs a little bit more T3 and a little bit less T4. That's the beauty of compounding. Now, that's tricky, and a lot of people don't compound. But also, I have it compounded in veggie capsules, no fillers, no gluten. I mean, you're just getting what you need. And that's the beauty of compounding. But it's a little more expensive, too.
It is.
So there's many different ways to treat pharmaceutically Hashimoto's and hypothyroid. Yeah. But the bottom line is you have to eliminate your triggers, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever that could be, anything from a bad diet to curing your infections, right? Yeah. Cleaning up your environment, getting rid of, the perfume, the lotion, the makeup, the haircut. I mean, not getting rid of it, but changing those things to less toxic, right?
Totally.
Right? Right?
Infection-wise, I would
fixing the leaky gut.
Oh, yes. Like we talk about like infections, about fixing those, like the top few things that when we find, like we talked about cytomegalovirus and Epstein-Barr, we find that in Salmonella and H. pylori. Some of the main things I would say this in an herbal or spice type of realm, like neem powder is really good. I find that neem powder, like you find neem powder, noni powder, which is also known as morinda. So I say neem, noni, suma.
Noni's known as what?
It's known as morinda. It's a
morinda
fruit.
Or moringa?
Not moringa.
Okay, because somebody asked about moringa.
No, it's not moringa.
Here. Okay, morinda. I don't know.
It's noni powder, neem powder, and I'd say suma, which is a good Ayurvedic medicine. And also we use a bit of Chinese sinensis, but basically it's called golden thread. I'm saying that when we talk about infections that affect the thyroid, those can be taken at a different usual dosage of a decent dosage of like a couple of capsules twice a day. But I'm saying, guys, write this down. So you can say neem powder, morinda, or noni powder, or you can use suma. And suma is used for a lot of bodybuilders. The reason why is because it builds the adrenals and the thyroid up so much. And a bit of golden thread or Chinese sinensis. But I'm saying, like with the triggers, when she was talking about the infections, we find that those 4 ingredients or one of those 4 ingredients can knock out infections very quick and very fast, along with the vitamin D and vitamin C and the things we talked about. Okay,
yep.
So go ahead.
Bottom line is, okay, one other person says, because we've run over, this was supposed to be 45 minutes tonight, actually. Can you take the thyroid supplements you mentioned while taking Armor as well? Kim, absolutely, yes. So when you take your thyroid medicine, I'm sure many of you know this. If you're my patient, you should know this. You take your thyroid medicine on a 100% empty stomach. 100%. Nothing around it. Alone. No wine, no nothing. No, for sure, no dairy. If you take it in the morning, you set that thyroid medicine on your nightstand, and the second you open your eyes, you take your thyroid medicine. Mm-hmm. The minute you open your eyes, you have to wait at least an hour before you eat. I'm sorry, you just do. An hour. But you have to wait 4 hours before there's any iron, and you need to write this down, iron, soy, calcium supplements or dairy, milk, but you're not doing that. Iron, soy, dairy, calcium, magnesium, walnuts, grapefruit, cottonseed oil, which I don't even know why anybody would do that, but that's one of them.
It's in a lot of peanut butter and a lot of the little snacks people use, the little crackers.
Yep, has to be 4 hours away from that. And Tums. Iron, soy, calcium, dairy, magnesium, walnuts, grapefruit, Tums, cottonseed oil, 4 hours away. 4 hours away, right? Otherwise, it's going to bind to your thyroid medicine and it's going to make your TSH go up.
Yes.
It is so important. So if patients say, well, I can't wait, I'm going to put milk in my coffee every morning. Coffee also messes with your TSH and your thyroid medicine. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you say, I'm not going to do it, then I have patients either set their alarm in the middle of the night, take their thyroid medicine at 2, 3 in the morning. It's empty stomach. It better be, because you need to go into bed before 10. Yeah. That's right. I have some patients, not me, I go to bed and I'm done, but they get up the same time every night or multiple times a night and go to the bathroom. I have them take it every single night. Then when they wake up on their own, they go back to bed and then they get up and they're good to go. And that's perfect. Now, there's been a lot of clinical stuff, or not a lot, but there's been some literature out there on taking your thyroid medicine at night when you go to bed. Yeah. And it's beautiful. It works beautifully, but it has to be on an empty stomach. Empty stomach. And a lot of people eat too late. They go to bed, so that's tough, but it needs to be on an empty stomach. And so I don't have patients take, magnesium. So anyway, I find it trickier for my patients to take it at night, but several do. And if you do take it at night, you're welcome to share that. But it has to be on an empty stomach, and it's the same time every day. Also, when you have your labs checked, you do not take your thyroid medicine the morning of your labs. Do not take your thyroid medicine the morning of your labs. Get up, go have your labs drawn in the morning if possible, and then take your thyroid medicine afterwards. If you have to have your labs checked in the afternoon, which is not ideal, then make sure it's at least 4 hours away from when you took your thyroid medicine. That makes sense. Because T3, which is your short-acting energy gas pedal, right? The T3 portion of your Armor, Nature Thyroid, or just T3 by itself, peaks at 4 hours in your body, in your bloodstream. It peaks.
On that.
Yeah. It's really, you want it at least 4 hours later. 3 hours after a meal. To take at night, yes, at least. Yeah, that would be ideal, Adele, 3 hours after. Can I drink coffee 1 hour after taking? Yes, you can, Martha, you can, but don't put any dairy in it, okay? No dairy.
And also, I would suggest that every one of you, keep a journal about when you wake up. I think it'd be a very good thing to do, because next week, you guys could probably send us some messages saying what time you got up every night, because the time you wake up every night gives an indication of which organs are pretty much out of balance. And that may not mean a lot to you right now, but if you got up every time between 11 and 1, you probably have some gallbladder issues. If you woke up between 1 and 3, it's liver. And even after that, it could go into the lung, into the large intestine. So what we're saying is, if there's any chronic, this is how we will look at it. If you had a chronic infection in those organs, or if you had a chronic emotional distress in those organs, that could drain your thyroid and make your thyroid work harder, because your body is completely working on that emotion or on that infection. So make a note and write down what time you get up and message us back, and hopefully we get to it. And then we can also just tell you, that's what you need to look at. Because for instance, we have a lot of people that will come in with hypothyroid, and they say, I get up every morning at around 4:30. And then I ask them, have you had chronic bronchitis? Because that's the lung time in Chinese acupuncture. And sure enough, they'll say, I had sinus infections all when I was a kid. Well, that infection, I hate to say, never really left the system. And that could be a possibility of it draining the thyroid. Because remember, the thyroid is there, to keep fighting infection and telling your cells to keep fighting, running, and standing up to fight. And if that was the case, make a note of it. Send it to us.
We need to do a whole night on that. You need to talk about that. I don't know all about that Chinese medicine stuff.
It's a great thing. I'm saying, send us a note and then let us know, and we can go through it. And
yeah.
So what else?
Yeah. Yeah, coffee we talked. Oh, coffee enemas to help liver and thyroid. You guys tried. I've never tried a coffee enema to help it, but my thyroid's fine. I've never even had a coffee enema. Can you believe that? Well, we could talk about that. I love coffee. I might as well have an enema with it.
Hey guys, go to Honest Roasters in the factory and get her a whole bunch of coffee and send it to her.
I've never done coffee enemas, but I don't know anything about. But yeah, okay. Martha would like more information on a liver cleanse, so we'll talk about that one night.
Let's do a session on that.
Well, actually, in January we actually worked on this retreat this weekend, and we've set up the next 6 or 7 weeks of Sunday Night Lives. And we're going to be talking about detoxification right after the first year. So we're going to be talking about Martha. We're going to be talking about liver detox and all that. We have run over people. You guys must not have anything to do tonight.
My buddy Tommy said, "Hey, Chris, did your mom make the kimchi you ate the other night?"
No, it was actually Todd from the Fermented Farmer.
Fermented Farmer, Tommy. Yeah. I love you. I got to call you back, bro. I've been out of sound.
So the bottom line on this is, I got something to tell you.
Wait.
I forgot.
No, this is what I want to say. What's going to happen with you?
No,
I want to tell you about
guys. Okay, so I can't share the whole thing, but I can give you a little teaser. You remember when I talked about vaginal rejuvenation? And so he hates it. I was talking about it in the car, and he's just like, he wants to crawl out of the car.
Oh, my word. Here we go, guys. Here we
go. Adele, you know this about vaginal rejuvenation, and we're talking about rejuvenating the vagina for, for lots of reasons, but for mainly incontinence, right? Women who have incontinence when they women who have incontinence, right? When they pee on themselves, whether you laugh,
I'm not laughing at that.
Stop it. Now, this is serious.
I know.
You're not in this conversation.
Okay, I know.
Or just need vaginal rejuvenation. You need it tighter and toned up and all of that. Guess what? I am going to be, and I can't share it yet, but I will as soon as I get the whole deal done. I'm going to do a trade out, and we are going to have a little meeting at this office, and all of you guys are invited, right? And to talk, not to watch, but to
before and after, guys.
We're not showing before and after, but I am so excited. I approached them and said, "Look, I've got an amazing group of women out there who are very interested in this for different reasons, for cosmetic, sure, absolutely, and just sexual function, but also for the incontinence part of it. And the cosmetic side of it is really the bonus side of it. And so if you guys are interested in that, I will let you know. Next week, I will have that nailed down, and we're going to do, it's good, great. I'm going to host a night there. I won't be teaching about it because they're the ones who have the machine and all that, but I'm really excited about that. And so he was with me in the car when I got the phone call, or when we confirmed it on the phone that it was actually going to happen. And that's like my first endorsement.
It is.
Which is quite funny that it would be for the vagina.
Anyway, what'd you call it?
Designer vagina.
Yeah, but you said it was a new Broadway show called it.
It's the new Vagina Monologues with Dani and Dr. Motley. Sorry, people, but this is important. It's funny, but this is important stuff. I mean, we know it's important because we all have one. Women do, and it's important. And so Adele, talked to us about, or to me, about how in South Africa, it's South Africa, right, Adele, that they do vaginal rejuvenation after a baby's born.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, right after you said right after they have
it,
they do
exactly.
And also where else? They said
on the nipples to help stimulate breast milk and things like that, and healing from aggressive nursing. So there's some things going on here. All right, guys, we are so way over. It's not even funny. We're 30 minutes over. The bottom line is you can fix this. What your body turns on, you can turn off. I am proof of that. And I have patients every week who put their Hashimoto's in remission. And I had a patient last week who lowered her thyroid antibodies by 200 and something, no medicine, only the protocol that I talked about. She lowered her antibodies and her TSH came down beautifully. And she cried in the office. I was so excited for her, and she was feeling well, and she did it. And she's very close to getting into remission. Not everyone can do it without medication, but many times we can. But your body is designed to heal itself. I will tell you this over and over and over, but you have to give it what it needs. And it is eating well, sleeping well, moving well, pooping well, decreasing stress, and having community. right? And we're a community, we are, but we're not your real people that's in the trenches with you, you know, every single day, your friends, your roots. You got to have some roots in your life. And Hashimoto's is just another one of those things. It's not who you are. Man, you are so much more than Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism or Graves' disease or lupus or irritable bowel syndrome or urinary incontinence. You are so much more than that, right? This is just a tiny piece of who you are. It's a problem for you, but this is fixable.
And it's crazy that when you look at, if you ever had, like, if you look at who you came from, your parents, I'm saying it's a tiny part. And if you look at all the genes that got passed to you and you ever had a genetic test, it literally could be one small gene that could create all this inflammation.
You're right.
It could cause all these things that go on. And it's like what you eat and what you do and the stress around you is what dictates if you develop it. Remember, it's crazy that we look at it and we think that we identify ourselves as the infection or the disease or something. You can't do that. I've had Lyme, you've had lupus, we've had these things. And you can get your way out of it. If I can get out of it, Dani can get out of what she has.
Oh, my Lord. I was in it deep. I get it. I understand how people say I'm checking out. I get it. I've been there, and we could talk about depression too one night. But all right, this Friday at 11 o'clock, Liberty Bain, the Lunch and Learn on art therapy. You want us to talk about decreasing stress and increasing creativity? You need to be at that Lunch and Learn Friday at 11 o'clock at my office.
11?
And 11. No, 11. Yeah, not 11:30. 11. And then 6:30 on Friday night at Nashville Restorative Dentistry, which is Dr. Ryan Jones, is the Hashimoto support group meeting. It's our potluck party, and I'm gonna bring gluten-free meatballs. Yeah, with the recipe, which Ashley doesn't know yet, from Urban Market. I'm going to get from her.
I love Urban Market.
We love it. With their oil and vinegar. Yeah, I can't wait. So you guys have a fabulous week. I'm so sorry we ran over. We did, and we've got so many great questions, and we'll answer those right here as soon as we get off. All right, we love you guys, and so excited. SundayNightService.net.
Next week we got.
Yeah, what are we talking about next week?
Next week we are going to talk. Oh, guys, next week before we go, we're going to talk about medications and the nutritional deficiencies as those create.
That's right, nutrient deletion, not depletions.
So if you're taking a certain medication, we're going to talk to you about what nutrients it can deplete and then what it can affect on your body so you can find the symptoms and correlate it with.
That's exciting. I'm so excited about that because if you're taking birth control, right, we know what you need. If you're on metformin, we know what you got to have. It's going to be so exciting. If you're on a proton pump inhibitor like Nexi, oh, it's so exciting. I love this. I love this stuff.
You're gonna know.
Yeah. So next Sunday night, it's all going to be on nutrient depletions. What your pharmaceuticals or your over-the-counter things you're taking and what it's depleting in your body. Not necessarily that you have to come off your pharmaceutical. Not saying that. Not teaching that. But what you're going to have to put back in your body because you're taking those
exactly
substances.
Right. Remember, recap tonight. She said, remember, fish oils, guys, glutathione, NAC, and vitamin A. You guys got to do that. And we also have, remember, check Epstein-Barr, check some H. pylori, salmonella, Lyme, and check a bit of herpesviral too, so you can get those tests done. So tonight was Hashimoto's. We did a great.
All right, guys. Well, thank you. Yeah, it was fabulous, wasn't it?
Was she great?
No, not that I was so great. We just had a great job. We did a great job, and a lot of people watching, guys. So
guys, really love you.
This is the holiday. Go look at the moon. It's the super moon tonight. We got to go look.
We'll go through this and we'll answer some questions. Okay?
Yeah, we will. We're going to right now. All right, guys. We love you.